All right, eBay tip number 5. Today we are going to talk about images, what kind of images you should be taking, what they should look like, what angles, and that sort of thing. If you like these eBay tips and you're looking for more, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I try to post a new tip every week. You can find more on the channel as well. And yeah, let's just get into it. This week I wanted to talk about images because it seems like a lot of people, at least a lot of the listings I see, could be a lot better if they just took 20 more seconds to take a better photo, use better lighting. But there are so many apps out there right now, and the way our phones are, that you really do not need the greatest lighting or a whiteboard setup or with studio lights or any of that stuff to take good pictures for your listings. So I want to use, we'll just do an example real quick. So I listed Metroid on the my store today, and you can see that it's damaged. So when I sell these video games, what I typically do is I'll take a picture of the front like this, the back like this, and then since this has a label at the top, I'll take a picture of the top. Then I'll look over the item and see if there is any imperfections, any issues with the item, and I'll take pictures close up of those. So in this case, I took a picture of close up of this so that someone could see that it has this imperfection, and that there's a little bit of peeling and stuff with the label. This I didn't have to take a picture of up close because clearly you could see that from the picture of the back. If there was an issue up here, I would have taken another picture of wherever the issue was. On this example of Tecmo Super Bowl that I listed today, I did the same thing. I did this and I did this, but then I went back and I took a picture as best I could of this crack on the item. So you have to inspect your items. You have to look and see what are things about this item that if I were buying it, I would want to know before I purchased it, especially when it comes to used items, right? So like if you have new stuff, that's fine. You can listen to the description if some of the packaging is ripped a little bit or the box is smashed, things like that. If it's ridiculously smashed, make sure you take pictures of that. But taking the most amount of pictures you can within eBay's window, I think it's like 12 images you're allowed to post, or 16 or something. But if you need to, take as many pictures. Use all of them if you have to. I tend to take as many as I think I need, especially, like I said, with phones these days and digital pictures, being able to easily just click a picture and have it ready to go. My personal workflow is I use my phone to take all my pictures, and then I take the main photo that I'm going to use and I bring it into a software called Photo Room, and it uses, I don't know if it uses AI, but it uses some sort of technology to take the images off the background and put them onto a white background. So for instance, like this, I don't have a fancy light setup or anything for taking pictures. I set this on the ground in my living room on the carpet and I take a picture. Yes, I have two, windows kind of like this one that are next to the item. So it does have fairly decent lighting, but I don't have studio lights. I don't have a white background. I don't have anything. I have the ground in my family room or living room. And it's the same thing I've been using since the day I started doing this on eBay. So if you're worried about taking great pictures and you don't have this setup, you don't need it. You just need your phone and maybe an app like Photo Room if you want to remove the background. I like having the white background on only the main image. I don't do it for all of them, just the main image. And then that's the one that shows up in the listing. And then when someone goes and clicks on it, I actually then have the original image with the product on the carpet, and then all the other pictures that I need to properly show the listing listed after that. That way someone could see that the white image for one, is not just a stock photo. It actually came from, the image following it. And, excuse me, that I show enough images of the item to allow a person to make a more informed decision about buying that product. If you post one image and it's like, like this or something, and you're like, oh, I'm selling, Metroid. It's like, nobody's going to buy that. You need to have good images, and it doesn't take that much time. So like I said, I take the photos on my phone. I run the one through Photo Room to take out the background, so that's a white background. If you don't pay for Photo Room, it is going to put a little watermark in the bottom right. And I don't advise this. I don't condone it. But it's pretty easy to get rid of the watermark. Let's be honest. So you can use that item, take the watermark out, or not the watermark out, take the background out, and then I have it set up where I then just open up the Dropbox app on my phone, and it automatically uploads my images to Dropbox, which then come down to my computer here, and I do all of my listing on the computer. I don't list anything through the mobile app. You absolutely can. It's pretty intuitive as far as that goes, but I like to copy and paste general information into my description, and we'll talk about descriptions in a different video. But I have things that I put in every single description regarding if I've tested it, the shipping, how often I ship, a link back to my store so that people can find that if they're looking at the listing. So I like to copy and paste all that from old listings into the new one, so it's just a lot easier for me to do on my computer. Plus, I'm sitting at my desk this all the time anyway. So, yeah, but the main thing is have good images. Make sure you take pictures of exactly any of the flaws, even if you think they're minor. If you, as a buyer, would want to know that the product had this imperfection before you bought it, take a picture of it. Digital pictures don't cost anything. You can delete them on your phone right after you take them. It's not a big deal. So make sure you take as many photos as you can to give the buyer a better understanding of what they are getting. This will also help with returns or items not as described. You can, show all of this stuff, and then if a person's like, well, you didn't, say that this had this, it's like, well, make sure you say it in the description also. But you're like, oh no, the images had all of this, I pointed it out in the description, blah, blah, blah. This is how it is. So it will help with returns. It'll help you with, less people buying things, assuming it's going to be in one condition, and then they get it and it's in another condition. So yeah, that's a tip for this week. Make sure you are using the amount of images you have to in order to get across the quality of the product you are selling. Post images as if you were buying it and how you would want to see a listing, or what you would want to see from the product before you bought it, if you were the one buying it. So that's what we got this week. If you have any questions about images, using Photo Room, not having to use a big setup or anything like that, let me know in the comments. I can help answer that. I was actually a product photographer for 5 or 6 years earlier on in my career, so I have an understanding of product photography and all of that, and I do have, white sweeps and studio lights and stuff packed away in my attic that I never use anymore. But with the technology available today, there's no reason for you not to be able to take decent pictures of your items with just your phone. I don't use any fancy cameras, nothing. It's literally, I think it's an iPhone 11 Pro is what I use. So make sure your images are good, make sure they're clear, make sure you show all the imperfections and everything. And if you want, use that white background. I do feel like it helps. eBay promotes images that have a clear, clean background and everything. And with, Photo Room and apps like that, there's no reason not to. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next week for the next eBay tip.